What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you back inside the CIF office for another, we call this the Roundup, review.
Call the Weekly Roundup.
Weekly Roundup. I'm Christian Pedersen. This is Ron Marquez, director of pretty much everything. He doesn't say commissioner yet, but maybe like a head coach in waiting type situation here.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything in the office. So look, we're here because there is history being made.
Yep.
There are like constantly in all sorts of sports. Mm-hmm. There are power rankings now out.
Yep,
there are battles of fans. There are cheer competitions. You blew my mind when you said that playoffs for sports begin in 1 month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, less than a month.
Okay, so that's why we're here, sports fans, because we need to keep you engaged and excited and in the know. So, can we start field hockey?
Let's start with field hockey. Why not right there?
I mean, because it's a pretty easy sport to start with, because the story is always going to be the Sarah Conquistadors, especially now that they have launched themselves into state history levels. Mm-hmm. 91 wins in a row. Yep. Marks the state record. They've allowed 1 goal this season.
Just happened.
Just happened, and we're not supposed to be fans or cheer. We're supposed to be neutral, objective, unbiased in the media, but kind of hoping for like a goose-egged season, because that would have been incredible.
They're on an incredible run no matter how many goals they don't allow, whatever, but it's still an awesome run.
So, I'm struggling to come up with the right analogy. Maybe you can help me out on this, but how do I explain to everybody out there what the context of 90 wins in a row for a program like this is? Because this is true history.
Yeah, no, this is unique in that kind of dominance. I mean, there are other programs out there that have done this. We'll talk about another one here shortly. But it's interesting in the context. It's a great run with the coach out there and everything. So it's.
I mean, but it almost verges on. It seems like it would be impossible when you're setting out as a team to be like, oh, hey, guess what? We're going to win the next 90 games. Like, it seems like you just would not be able to sit down and be like, as a football team, yeah, we're not going to lose this year, but we're also not going to lose for the next 4 years.
Yeah, but as a coach, you don't think about that. You enjoy the run. It's like catching a wave, and that wave's still going 90 games later. So just enjoy it, because at some point it might end. So just keep coaching, keep playing away, and enjoying it. So that's all you can do with teams. You can't plan. It's like, hey, well, my goal is to win 100 in a row. When I was coaching, my goal wasn't to win so many in a row. Just get to that point. If we could win it, great. There was one run, I think, my best team, 2009. We ran the table 20-0, and didn't plan on it. Didn't plan to beat Torrey twice that year, but enjoyed the run, and that was the start of 3 CIS for us. So from that experience, you just go back and look back. It's a great time, and those teams are great, and it's something that those kids are always going to remember.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that we saw the seniors last year for Sarah go wire to wire with winning 4 Open Division championships. Yep. And it's hard to understand how one school can have such dominance when we talk about these other sports where the top 10 for football gets jumbled every which way every single Friday. And the math versus the polls, and it's just all sorts of chaos. But to have that kind of dominance is just truly amazing. Another sport that is being dominated and having an amazing streak, Rancho Bernardo girls golf broke the century mark for consecutive wins. They're up to 102, I believe, maybe 104. Haven't checked all of the math.
Who knows what this week where they're
from what's been submitted this week, but golf is a weird sport in terms of it's both individual and team. Yep. So you need to find that sweet spot if you really want to have this level of success. So can I put you on the spot and say, is one more impressive than the other? Are these sort of parallel? Just help break this down a little bit.
That continuity in golf and the individual sports is tough to do, because golf, tennis, swim, a lot of those things cross country, you're going to find out pretty soon. It depends. It's not just a one good person, or two. It's the depth of your team, and you can have a world class golfer in your team, but if you don't have a supporting cast, you're going to have one good golfer, and then the rest aren't going to be able to follow up and help the team out.
Well, we saw that last year with the girls' championship. Lauren Gomez from Point Loma wins the individual championship. Point Loma as a team dead last in the breakdown. So it's a sport where it's almost like saying, okay, well, and I have to funnel everything back through football because we're in football season, and I like the lowest common denominator for the viewers. It's sort of like saying, okay, so our football team is over here, we're doing a pretty good job, and we're winning the game, but our quarterback is running laps around the track and racing someone from the other team at the same time. It's sort of like there's sort of two different games going on. And it's also amazing with Rancho Bernardo specifically because they play Torrey. They play Mater Dei. They play the toughest of the tough schedule. They are not cherry picking, these are 100 wins against this, that, and the other that we just, can roll over.
Yeah, so that's another component too, where their run is just as impressive because of who they play too. And in individual sports, you want to play the best teams because you want your best players going up against the best. So a lot of times on those teams, they'll have a good golfer, but they'll play some tough teams. The rest of the team may struggle. I've seen that in a lot of other sports too. But that's why this record for RB is just as impressive as any other, because of the depth of that, and not just a testament to their top player, but their whole team, and be able to be that consistent over these years. You
mentioned top player. I want to read off how the top has broken down right now. And this is all a huge thanks to Aaron Quisnell at La Jolla for putting together, the most fluid and dynamic of power rankings on a website possible. Live scoring updates. Especially for the finals, it is going
he's
off.
Put together a great program.
And it is funny though that he hasn't sort of tweaked the math to always have a La Jolla golfer in this top 10. But right now, Brooke Say from Francis Parker, number 1, she's committed to Stanford. And that, just to kind of tag team on what we were saying about the strength of schedule, every one of these top squads is sending somebody to a Stanford, to a Cal, to Princeton, to somewhere big to go golf at that next level, if not just go straight pro.
Yeah, that's the one thing about our CIF championships. A lot of times it could look like an NCAA championship in 4 years. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Well, last year on the guys' side, James Song set the actual course record at Admiral Baker, not the for under 18 or anything. He just went out and broke the course record. Brianna Navarrosa from Mater Dei Catholic is number 2. Lauren Gomez, the defending CIF champion, only a sophomore from Point Loma. Krista Izuguiza. I had to hyphenate and work through that one a couple times, from Coronado. Ivana Montemayor from Mater Dei. Estabele Garcia from Mater Dei. So Mater Dei really top heavy in this. Then Vanessa Ho and Stephanie Heimler from Rancho Bernardo. Then Jasmine Lavau from El Camino and Brooke Ryback from OLP round out the top 10. And that right there is an interesting dynamic. You get Mater Dei and Rancho Bernardo, 2 very solid team squads, but then you dot that with Point Loma, Parker, Coronado, OLP. It almost seems like golf brings out some of the best parity in all of San Diego.
Yeah. City Conference represented right there.
What do you say we switch over to a different top 10 ranking, though? Because I see you sitting with a power ranking that just went live this week.
Yeah, we had our power rankings go live this week. So
across the board for everything.
Across the board. Now, the ones that we use, just straight, Max Preps with football, and those have been live for a little while. But our power ranking system for the sports, field hockey, volleyball, tennis, are all up there.
So, which one do you want to start with? What do you got up right now on the computer?
We've been talking about field hockey. Let's tie that one up.
All right, let's go field hockey.
So right now we got Sarah at the top. And then we got right now San Pasqual, Scripps Ranch, Torrey Pines round out the top 4. And then for Poway, Valley Center, RBV, and Vista round out that top 8, looking at the Open there. So the top 8 teams. So
anybody in there that surprises you?
Surprises? Not really. Those are all perennial programs. They're all have been in the top there too. So going into the season, again, and the caveat to all this with all our coaches, talking to all the coaches out there, make sure you put your scores in, because those are all dependent. Your power rankings are all dependent on up-to-date scores. So if a coach lags, a team lags, they affect them. If you put these in late, things can change overnight. So just make sure.
And that can affect playoff seeding if it doesn't get done, correct?
Correct. There is a deadline. There has been a deadline already that teams had to meet. So there's another deadline, which is usually the day before their seeding meeting. Make sure all the things up to date, so that way the committees have all the information up to date and they can do the right thing.
So field hockey done. What do you say we switch over? Can we go tennis?
Let's go tennis.
I love hearing you talk tennis. You have a lot of passion for tennis.
I do.
Now, are we talking individual or team rankings?
Let's talk about team a little bit. Team's going to be a little interesting. Tossing around a little bit.
Okay.
I know, teams up in the mix. We said teams have caught up to Torrey this year. So that streak Torrey has in the Open Division might be in a little jeopardy. We've talked about San Diego last time, but I think the teams we need to mention now are Bishops, Coronado, Our Lady of Peace.
Well, let's just read off the top 5 for me.
No, right here, top 5. We got Bishops, Canyon Crest, OLP, Rancho Bernardo, Coronado, Torrey Pines, Del Norte, another sleeper there, Scripps Ranch. So round out the top 8. They would be in the Open as it started today. But teams you got to watch out for. You got LCC up in the north, Parker, La Jolla always sneaks around, and Helix has that top player too. So you never know.
Now you mentioned Del Norte, and then you stopped and said they're a little bit of a sleeper. What do you like about Del Norte's team?
They're historically always strong. They always come up with a tough team, and at the end of the season, they end up being in the top 4. So, Coach Mealy out there, and they've got some good talent. They're right there in that 56 rich area of tennis players. So there's a lot of good talent out there to play. So Del Norte is one to watch in that league.
So you'd be kind of in the background going, okay, I might put them as my dark horse candidate.
Yeah, they might be. So it's good. And again, Eastlake, always from the South Bay, comes up and represents. And then you never know who's going to come out. I know East County with I think it was El Cap, has a couple good players out there too. In Imperial Valley, you never know who's going to come out of there too. They always at Calexico, Vincent Memorial.
I'm glad you bring that up because this is across all sports. I'm so tired of they're from the Imperial Valley. We don't get to watch them very much. And then they storm through the playoffs and it's like, oh, where'd Brawley come from? Oh, where'd Southwest El Centro come from? If there's good sports played at all those schools across the board every single year. We saw last year alone, Southwest El Centro wins a football championship. Brawley wins a baseball championship. Southwest El Centro's Tyler Sycombe wins a hurdles CIF individual championship.
Can't forget about wrestling and Brawley.
Brawley and wrestling. I mean, Brawley wrestling might be the closest thing that Poway has to a challenge. And I say that with maybe huge air quotes because I don't know if Poway Wrestling will ever truly have they're shaking their boots. The challenge. Imperial and Brawley is actually going down in football this week, which will be a really interesting game because both of those teams really on pace to do well. What sport you want to hit next?
Oh, let's shoot over to volleyball because we got a big tournament coming up this weekend.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You want to give everybody a little bit of info about what's happening this weekend?
California Challenge, Torrey Pines, big tournament, a big national tournament. So you got a lot of our local teams competing with a couple from out of state. So head out to Torrey Pines and watch some of the best volleyball players in the country play. So that's a good preview about talking about college players. Again, that could be an NCAA tournament in 4 years right there.
Well, absolutely. And if you guys follow us, I'll go ahead and give the shameless plug at SD Prep Insider on Instagram. We do the top recruit segment. And just in the last couple of weeks, we've had, as I scroll through it, trying to not look like I didn't plan this. Evie Gonzalez from Canyon Crest committed to Northeastern. We had Maya Gensner from La Jolla committed to Cal. Like real actual top recruits, like actual big name people going to big name schools. And this is again something that for me is a little bit of an annoyance. Is just the belief that football recruits are the biggest recruits. When yes, it is football is the big seller, but if you're talking about somebody going to play volleyball at Cal or play volleyball at UCLA or USC or go to play tennis at Stanford, something like that is you are legitimately one of the best in the country at your sport.
Yeah, San Diego is a very talent-rich place for athletes. I mean, not only tennis, you talked about all these sports too. Volleyball, if you take a look, you come from Southern California, you come from San Diego. We got some good players here. I mean, we had Gatorade Player of the Year in softball last year, Gatorade Player of the Year in volleyball 2 years ago. So,
Lexi Sun, the volleyball player you're mentioning, produced one of the greatest highlights I have ever been in person to see. There's occasionally that kill where it's just coming at you too fast, got the girl in the dome, went up, knocked a light out.
Yeah, no, she's a dominant player, but again, that's the talent.
One of the best things I'd ever seen, and that's where that's why we're sitting down because we're taking 20 minutes or so to talk about all this. Where you could spend 20 days talking about all this because that's just how deep the talent pool is citywide. You want to hit one more sport, or if you're going to cheer?
Let's talk about cheer a little bit.
Okay, because cheer is now in year 2 of being a CIF championship sport.
Yep.
And that is coming up in December?
Yeah, that's why I want to talk about it now. Last year was mid-July when the championships. This year it's going to be in December at Carlsbad High School. So teams are getting ready already, and so it should be exciting. Should be another good year, and it's going to get bigger. I think it's almost double in size this year.
So what do people want? What do people need to know? Give us the 1 minute sort of cliff notes on what is a cheer championship. What do people need to know that maybe think cheer is just what you see on Friday nights on the sideline?
And there's 3 types. Now with the state, you're becoming a state sport. There's 3 types. There's your sideline cheer, which you're talking about. You see the Friday night lights, football games. That's one cheer. But what we're doing here is traditional competitive cheer. So there's going to be routines. There's going to be timed judges and everything with the routines, judging their timing, judging the acrobatics, a lot of that too. So there's a lot of gymnastics involved, a lot of different things involved too. So it's tough, and seeing them compete is pretty cool, and watching them put these things together. So it is very good to see, and just the coordination and everything. And if you go to the championships, I think the only
it's true athleticism.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
Everything that you think that an offense or a defense has to go into coordinating on a Friday night, that should be able to have to do that while also throwing people in the air and not balls.
Exactly. You're not catching a football here. You're catching your flyer.
Yeah,
So.
I challenge any wide receiver in San Diego to go out there, hold out your arms, and catch one of your tight ends. Don't think that you're ready for that.
That's a 90-pound football coming at you. So yeah, so that's good. But
so that'll be going down in December, and you
December.
mentioned it's getting larger this year. What kind of participation are we looking at countywide?
3 divisions. There's the large school, medium school, and then there's a co-ed as well. And then there's a game day competition too, which is more that traditional cheer kind of rah-rah, but with the components of gymnastics built in too. So the coaches have just been meeting about it. So they're getting their judges have been set, the criteria's been set, the rubric's been set. So they've started now and getting ready. And I think most teams, now that it's out there, teams are getting ready and preparing, figuring out their routines and what they're going to use in December. So it's go time.
It's also go time to transition perfectly into everything that you just mentioned there, putting together a routine, submitting in December. That means Battle of the Fans.
That's right.
Now, Battle of the Fans is something that CIF has put together for a couple of years now that, look, let's be real. This is coming from somebody that this half of the face was painted black, this half of the face was painted red. There was Viking horns on here because I was not good enough at very many sports to be on the team, so I had to be cheering for it. Yeah. So Battle of the Fans is a great way for fans to get their recognition and get a CIF championship for your student section. So treat this as if we have never heard about this. Give us a little bit of an introduction to what it is and how people can get involved.
Another type of spirit, school spirit, that we want to reward schools for doing and doing it the right way too. If you go to our website, there's a separate tab for everything. Battle of the Fans is right up there. Talks about our criteria, school, and we're starting early this year. We're going to include, usually just was during the winter season for basketball, but we want teams or want schools to start submitting videos now during football season because they get crowds just as big or even bigger there. So great way to segue into that. The criteria's up there. It's either at least a 90-minute to 3-minute video.
90 second.
90 second.
If you want to just leave a GoPro on and get a 90-minute video of your cheering, we will accept that also.
Yeah, a minute and a half to 3 minutes. So there's a criteria up there. On our website, there's some sample videos from some schools that have
some of the previous champions.
Previous champions, yep. And then divisions. We talked about small school. We talked about large school. And we have the criteria too, keeping it clean, keeping it for your school, keeping it positive. There's a lot of guidelines there too, which schools are following, and it's great because the environment. You've been to plenty of high school games, and you see the environment and what it's like, and that's great. A lot of times it's not about what's on the field; it's what's in the stands and make that environment and makes everybody love it and come to those games.
I have seen everything from fatheads being brought to a water polo game to a dog at Westview wearing a lacrosse jersey, trained to jump up and clap for the team, to Thor and his hammer at Valhalla running around. We know you're out there, people. We know that you guys have a passion for this, or you just have nothing else to do and friends on the team, and so you show up. But to what you mentioned, I would like to say that this doesn't just go to Friday night. This goes to, if you are the lone steadfast pair of people that are showing up at field hockey games, we want you guys in on this also.
Field hockey, volleyball, water polo, football. Right now, I know there's schools out there. They have a traveling crowd that goes to each of those games.
Absolutely.
I want to see how you do it.
So what we need you guys to do for this is check out the descriptions, check out some of the samples, and then blow those out of the water.
Yeah.
And or just send us what you have, because if you've never done it, if your school has never submitted, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And
want more people.
So we'll take cell phone videos, we'll take professionally shot videos, drones, helicopters, underwater cameras.
Yeah, there's all types on the website there. Look at some very simple to very elaborate. Whatever you can put together, but just show your school spirit.
Well, and so that's the bottom line that we just really want to drive home, is this is a CIF championship for the fans.
Yep.
So you have to do no other thing than just yell and cheer and be school spirited and put that on display. So check out the CIF website. You can check out we'll put the links in all of our bios, tweets, Facebook posts. We will promise you that you will go, okay, stop, we get it, we understand. But I mean, that's something where I think that as this grows, kind of along the lines of cheer, like there will be more respect and understanding for, oh, that's the golden standard.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, no, and the more schools we get involved, the more schools want to do it, and it makes everything more fun. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing or what's going on, make it fun. Hey, sometimes you don't even see what's going on in the game. Still have a great time. 56-0 you lost, but you come back having a great time and your school enjoys it. It's all that matters. So it's all about the experience.
If you find a student section that still enjoyed it at the end of that, because mostly what I hear at the end of that is people looking up at the scoreboard going, we still have 9 minutes of this. But absolutely, yeah, send those in. Any closing notes you want to hit the people with?
Other than that, no. Enjoy the fall season. Championships will be here soon enough. That's why the blinds are closed. All the trophies are behind us, so they're all here.
No way.
So yeah, all the banners, trophies.
Putting a little extra super glue down on the bottom so Cathedral Catholics football team can't break another one.
Or any team. Any team.
That was not a dig meant specifically at your history. That was just the only one I've ever been around for where they broke it.
Oh no, I still
the champion.
Yeah.
Do you still have that one?
I still have that one.
Do you have the base? Do you have the top? Do you have both pieces?
I have both, but they're separate trophies now.
That is A-level thinking. That's good. I like that.
No, but it's good. That's why we're getting ready. Like less than 3 weeks away, we start with tennis championships, and then every weekend from there is a championship. So
just coming at you guys really, really fast, and that's why we are going to be coming back at you every single week. Now that we're really closing in on it, we're here to provide all the information. If you need anything, information, contact, questions, CIFSDS.org is the website.
That's right.
At CIFSDS across all social media.
That's right.
They can find basically anything and everything about all the mental health initiatives, all the, there was suspensions and whatnot being given out last week. But that's just if you need information, if you ever have questions. Well, I'm saying that they can go to the website and find the rule book, and they can answer questions. They can
anything out. And one thing I just thought of too, talking about Spirit, CIF State awards scholarships, Spirit of Sport, and that's a good thing.
College scholarships.
Money for college. These goes to seniors, so for grade students in the fall, winter, and spring, and then they do a student athlete of the year.
How did I not know about that when I was in high school?
Well, there you go. But yeah, that's something. And the only reason I know is I was lucky enough to have a student last year at Cathedral be honored as a Spirit of Sport Award in the fall. So state just released that information. We're going to tweet that out too. So make sure you get as many teams applying for that. We want to see somebody from San Diego win it again.
There you go, folks. So all of that, CIFSDS.org, at CIFSDS on all the social media. Thank you so much for sitting in with me, and I'm going to go take a look at those trophies.